All right, we are here with Tommie Turner, longtime Santa Fe High School coach. Thank you for letting us do this interview today.
No problem.
We're trying to enlighten and educate people in the history of track and field, and I know that you have a rich history with track and field, so I want to ask you a few questions of your early days, but mainly it's going to be about your running career, your coaching career, things like that. So to start out the early days, where did you grow up?
My home is St. Louis, Missouri, a little city, well, actually a suburb of St. Louis. I call it St. Louis my home, but it's like me living in Archer, but I have Gainesville residence, but that's how it is. One street, I could be in one city, suburbs or another. But St. Louis, Webster Groves, Missouri is where I'm basically from.
Okay.
It's a suburb of St. Louis.
All right. What sports did you compete in growing up? Was it just track and field, or did you play other sports?
I played JV football in high school, but in junior high I did track only. They had a track program. They didn't have a football or anything else. They didn't have a basketball program, matter of fact.
So was it just out of?
It just, well, I was used to, people used to call me the running man, but my nickname is T-Bird. I got it in college, but I used to run everywhere. Send me to the grocery store, I run. Be back in a couple minutes.
So you were just always on the move quickly.
I was running, probably one of the fastest guys around my area, even some of the good athletes. My brothers are probably better athletes than I am.
Okay.
They play baseball, football, basketball. I'm 5'9". I have two brothers, 6'2", 6'3".
Okay. You just have two brothers?
I have two brothers.
Okay.
Oh, one older, one younger.
Okay.
But
So
I'm look like the baby of the family.
okay. So you're the middle child, but you look like
I
the
look
baby.
like the baby of the
But you were
family.
the fastest of the three,
I was
right?
the fastest of the three, but they were more talented. My brother probably could made Major League Baseball, basketball, whatever you wanted to do, but it just, some people are made for certain things, some people are not.
Gotcha.
He just didn't.
Now, did that quickness come from them chasing you all the time, or
it was just a thing in the neighborhood. We ran everywhere. We went everywhere. Every kid in the neighborhood that we did, we all played together. Any Saturday, you could find about 10 or 20 kids playing some kind of sports in somebody's backyard. So parents didn't have to find us, look for us. They knew where we were.
Okay.
We had one place we went, and actually it was at one of my best friend's grandfather's house, and we get a phone call. Somebody says, "Come home." Everybody went home.
So kind of like the Sandlot movie, like they
Sandlot.
had one spot.
One spot, we all go play. We played football, we played baseball, we played softball. Whatever sport we wanted to play was all in one spot.
And there was enough kids to
There
make
was
up
enough
teams.
kids to make teams. I learned how to I broke my collarbone playing. We played football, tackle football. It wasn't touch.
Right.
It wasn't touch. We played tackle
Okay.
football, and I broke my collarbone as a youngster back then.
Okay.
I played football in high school, in high school, on my 9th grade team, but I stuck with track mostly after that.
Okay. Where did you attend high school at?
I went to Webster Groves High School.
Okay.
Same high school I went through in the community.
Okay. And what were your high school time? Well, what events did you run in, and then what were your times?
Originally, I was a hurdler. I ran the 120s back then, in the 400, 180s. Before they did the 300 and the 400, but they were running back 180s back when.
And this is yards, not.
These are yards.
Right.
These are all yards.
Okay.
And it's not on AstroTurf or all-weather tracks either.
Did you run on cinders?
I ran on cinder. Actually, we got the cinders from the furnace at the high school.
Really?
Yeah, they bring them and put it on the track. We had to market. Coaches had to market every day with,
So track and field just for
Back in the day was bad.
Right. So like a normal practice, like it was just a lot of setup just to have practice, just to know where your marks were.
Where your marks were, or even getting good traction. You had to have at least decent shoes.
Right.
But back then there wasn't a lot of good shoes. Maybe
Well,
Adidas was probably the only, and I think one other name brand.
Is Adidas what you mainly ran in?
I mainly ran in high school because Nike didn't come on until 70s.
Right.
Up to that point, I was not wearing anything but
But Adidas.
Adidas until I went to 72 Olympic trials.
Okay. Murray State, did they recruit you? Did you just decide you wanted to go there?
They recruited me. Strange situation. The head coach at the time was the guy that recruited me. He had emergency eye operation, and the biggest eye doctor medicine was in St. Louis, but Murray's not that far. It's like 3 hours away.
Okay.
And he used to come up there all the time, and he happened to look at the local newspaper, and my name was always in it. So he started recruiting me. I never went on a recruiting trip. The first day I went to school is the first day I saw the campus.
Wow.
I never saw the campus.
So you just...
I just liked the information that he was sending me.
So was he sending you mail?
He was
calling you?
He was sending me mails, calling me, sending me weekly news reports about the kids, what they were doing in the Ohio Valley Conference. And they had a very good team. Back in that day, they were dominating. And I was excited about what they were doing.
Okay.
And I never went to visit the school except the day I went.
So let me step back on a second.
Mm-hmm.
So what times were you running in high school?
Okay, when I was running the hurdles, 110 hurdles, I was running like low 15s. 180s, I was running 19.5.
Okay.
Which was probably, back then, 19.5 was pretty good.
Okay.
I was like rated number 1 or 2 in the area in the 180s.
Okay.
110, 100 hurdles 120 hurdles wasn't one of my favorites, but I was stronger at the 180s.
And you ran the 440?
But I ran the 400, no, only on the relay.
Okay.
And the 4x1s. I ran the hurdles and the 4x1 and the 4x4.
Okay, so not the open 4.
Not the open until my senior year. I was running better relay splits. I was splitting 48s on the relay.
Okay.
And the school state record was 48.2. And the coach decided, you got a better chance of going to state in the 400 than you do in the 180s and win. So he took me out of the 180s and put me in the 400 for the district.
Okay.
I ran 48.2, tied the state record.
At the district?
At the district.
Okay.
So my best time in high school was 47.9.
Okay. And did you make it to any state meets?
I won the state.
Okay.
We won both, the
Okay.
4x4 and the 400.
Now, is this just your senior year?
That was my senior. I only went to state once.
Okay. You won the 1971 NCAA 600-yard indoor race.
Mm-hmm.
Were you the favorite going into that race? Was it an upset?
No, I was a favorite. I had been there 3 times,
Okay.
runner-up twice, because back then in the NCAA, I can't remember, they used to do it, run 2 heats
Okay.
against time.
For the indoor meet.
For the indoor meet. They
Right.
used to run 2 heats in the 400 and the 600.
Okay.
And I think some of the other races, the sprint races, because of the tracks back then weren't, you're talking about not 200-meter bank tracks.
Right. It wasn't
They were
the
one
nice,
set.
luxurious tracks we have
11
today.
laps to a track.
Oh, wow.
Okay, 11 laps to a mile.
Okay.
So I was favorite, and I tried 2 years runner-up and 2 years runner-up, and I was disappointed. And I told him if somebody was going to beat me, they would have to set a world record. That was my commitment for the whole year. If I was going to win, I would have to set a world record. I ran 109.5, was almost close to a world record.
That's
world
awesome.
record was 109 flat.
That's awesome. So that fast was...
It's over. 2.5 laps.
Wow. So...
Yeah, I was favorite at that point, but I was
you
happened to be in the second heat, and you have to run you beat the first time.
Right. And that was your senior year.
That was my senior year.
So you made it your sophomore, junior year, and just came up a little
Came
short.
up short because of time.
Right.
Heats against time.
Right.
I won my heats, but
somebody beat you in another heat. But the 71, your senior year, you were in the second heat, so you could see what you needed to run.
And I told him if he's going to win, he better run a record, because I was determined
Right.
to run. I had been running good times. I came in with almost the same time. I
Right.
came in at 109.6, so I was favorite, but I was You never can tell.
Where was that?
It
Where
was at
that
Cobo
at?
Hall
Where?
in Detroit.
Okay.
Cobo. It's called Cobo. It was Cobo Hall back then. That's where it used to hold NCAA every year.
Okay. Let's see. You were on the 1971 Pan Am gold medal 4x4 team. How'd you end up on that team?
You had to finish. What I finished in the top six to finish to make the team.
Top six.
Top six out of in the finals. They select you. Some people select not to go. Some select to go to Europe and run.
And this is the final in the finals of
finals of the U staff.
Okay.
National championship.
Okay.
Back then it was called U staff.
So that was how you qualified.
That's how you qualified for the Pan American team. They didn't have Olympic trials like.
Gotcha.
It was selected from the U staff meet.
Okay. Where was the 71 Pan Am Games?
It was in Cali, Colombia.
Okay.
That's, if you know anything about South America, if you know anything about Cali, Colombia, either you're rich with money or you very poor. And I think our complex, or where the housing compound was close to where the lower class people were living. It's a strange story if I can turn away for a minute. This was in Cali, Colombia. The 4x4 relay team won. We ran close to almost under 3 minutes. We ran a 3 minutes, 0.6 seconds time. The strange thing happened was we had a little local kid come to the village every day. We don't know where he went at night, but he was there every day. He came every day, and we just adopted him. Mainly the women's team did. But he somehow or another came to the relay guys. He liked us for some reason. But he was around all the time. And they fed him, they gave him whatever he wanted. He cheered us on and everything. The finals of the 4x4, we decided as a team, these are the 4 guys. Some of them you might know. John Smith, I'm included, Fred Newhouse, Dale Alexander. We won the relay, and at the ceremonies they give you the awards and you stand on the podium. We decided to take him and put him on our shoulder and put all our medals around his neck. This picture is in a lot of magazines. That one is that the Olympic team put in the Olympic book, which I have a book of. This picture is it. So he's around the world.
And what was his name?
We don't know.
You don't even know his name?
We do
he
not know.
He just showed up every day, huh?
We do not know his name. We don't know what happened to him. We don't, I mean, right now he could be in his, back then, 50s. We don't know. We never knew what happened to him when we left.
Right.
We just know that this happened. That was the most exciting thing that ever happened while I was there. But it was a strange. We had being in compound like we were in jail.
Right.
Because we couldn't go anywhere. We weren't allowed to leave the compound.
It was very strict.
It was very strict because of
everything going on in
drugs
Colombia.
Going on, the cartel.
Pablo Escobar and all of his guys.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Gotcha.
So that's just interesting. That's the most exciting part of the Cali, Colombia that I enjoyed about it, other than winning the gold medal.
Okay. You were on the 72 Munich Olympic team.
Yep.
What was it like being there? Like, what was the atmosphere? Let's do it before and after. So before everything happened at the Munich Olympics with the terrorists, what was the atmosphere like being in Germany?
Germany at that time was probably one of the cleanest cities. Munich was probably one of the cleanest cities I've ever been. I've been to Germany several times before that, but I've never been to Munich.
Right.
And because of the Olympics, but it was very clean. Even down in the cities, we didn't see anything negative. The village itself was very nice. Wasn't completed in some areas of building it because it turned into a housing complex later. When they normally build Olympic villages, that's what happens to them. They turn into apartments and stuff, but they weren't completed. It's nice facilities. We had because we had one of the largest contingents of athletes, we had one of the largest buildings. they had several different levels of buildings. One was with larger teams, one was smaller teams, had smaller buildings. So ours was, they got a lot of stuff that we could, all you can eat 24/7. Had places you can play games, you can do anything you wanted to do. You had a pass to go anywhere you wanted to go. And you got several tickets to different venues. You didn't get a lot of them, but you got certain days that you can go watch certain things. I went and watched basketball, I watched gymnastics and some swimming.
Was the security tight? Like, did you really?
It was, at first it was not that quite tight in our complex, I mean in the dorm area that we lived. But until, if you just give you a little background, you asked me a question about Mark Spitz.
Mm-hmm.
Mark wanted, before whatchamacallit, was one of the greatest swimmers I've ever seen.
Right.
You have to remember, back then, we're in Germany, Mark Spitz is Jewish.
Didn't know that.
So every day he got threatened. If he wins another gold medal, somebody's going to kill him. That was every time he won a gold medal. I mean, so security got tight. We had a guard at our door. We didn't have one before, but we got several guards at our door to come in and out. We had to check in and out, which we normally didn't have to do.
Right.
But once that happened, that's what happened. Everything else was fine. Then it got worse when they had the terrorist attack.
Right.
Security got real tight all over the place.
I'm sure.
But before that, it was go wherever you wanted to go without any problems, as long as you had your badges on, going in and out of the area.
Normal type of Olympic experience.
Wasn't no problem.
So, after or during the terrorist attacks.
When the terrorist attack, which is a strange thing, nobody in the village knew, except where it was happening.
Right.
Because it happened in the middle of the night. And I wasn't aware because I had a friend that was at Murray State playing basketball, but he was from Puerto Rico. Actually, he's Puerto Rican by way of New York. But he's from Puerto Rico, so he can play. He had dual citizenship, so he could play for the United States, or he could play for Puerto Rico. So we came in good contact with each other during the Olympics. I usually go to his village and see him. He had one of the high rise because they had a large contingent. So I going to his village, which is unusual because I used to go by it every day, and everybody has to go by it to go to eat or go to the track. It's the way you have to go. So they wouldn't let me go any further than his door, entrance to his door. So I went to his room, and he told me to come to the window. I said, "What for?" And we looked out. And if you ever see any pictures of the terrorists, they're sitting on a balcony with machine guns and bullet vests.
Right. And that's what
I
you
could
saw.
see it. Actually live.
Like how far away?
Like it's like a sidewalk away.
Okay.
I mean, the building's here, and his building's like here.
Right.
And I can look down visually. If they wanted to shoot, he could shot us.
Right.
That's how close we were.
That's crazy.
It was kind of frightening after that.
Everything happened, and most everybody knows the story about.
If you know the story about the massacre, we call it the massacre, about the terrorist attack. After that, the Olympics shut down for a day. They had a grieving ceremonies in the stadium itself.